And one of the things I was asked perhaps to talk about is, for example, if you once you become a translator, whether you're independent or a freelancer, what are some of the things you could do to build your own translation practice? You guys must. I mean, it looks like a lot of the professors have worked at the Translation Bureau, so you must have heard a lot about it.
But then again, we're upper years. Some of the first and second years might not have heard as much about it.
So are you familiar with, let's say, for example, if you want to be able to bid on contracts with the Translation Bureau, do you know what to do?
I don't think so. No.
Okay.
I don't think I've heard that at
Okay.
all. No.
So maybe I'll start with, first of all, you have to be in their database. It's called the Buy and Sell Government Supplier Database that you have to be part of. And you can do a quick research, like how to register with Public Works. And I also have more information if you want to email me after. So first of all, you have to have a procurement ID. It sounds very complicated, but it's all very easy to do. And you can take a workshop at the Small and Medium-Sized Enterprises Office of Public Works that teaches you everything from, how to get a procurement number to the next steps. It's all there. So for French, English into French and French into English, if you want to be in a supplier database and be able to bid on contracts, you have to be either certified yourself by one of the provincial organizations like ATIO, OTAC, or you have to employ a translator. So for example, in my case, because I run a company, so I use some translators that are certified. So they provide a letter saying, I work for this organization since however long, and you put it in there, and they register you. And then you can pick the specialty codes. There's like a book this thick of different specialty codes for English into French, French into English, like agriculture, nuclear safety, geology, everything. And you can pick which ones you feel more comfortable. It could be, if you're only comfortable with administrative text, just pick administrative text. But you have to be certified to get in there, or you have to find someone that says that person works for you. So it might be a bit tricky for you in the beginning when you're not certified yourself. But once you are, at least you know what are the next steps, to get there. Once you're there, once they do like a system-wide bid invitation, you'll be getting these long contracts that 50 pages long, tells you what you're supposed to do. These are the rules, and yada yada yada. And but some of these contracts are very long, like they're maybe 2 years, like 1 year, and then renewable another year, and that kind of stuff. And but they also have like mini contracts, which is for anything under $25,000. A manager inside the Translation Bureau do not have to send it out for bidding for like so many people. They can just pick 3 suppliers to bid on a mini contract. So those require some kind of, like the manager has to know you and what you're good at. It takes some marketing, so if that person knows you and that you're good at this, they can invite you to bid. And then you're competing with 2 other suppliers as opposed to, 500. To try to stand out of 500 and be the cheapest, it's very difficult. Whereas if you are only bidding with 2, it's a lot easier. And so some of the things that would increase your chances of success would be, you're visible. People know who you are. You're not just a number with like some supplier ID in the database. Who knows who you are? So you've marketed yourself and built some awareness that this is so-and-so and she can do this at this price. So some visibility, and you have a quality process or produce quality translation, because they have revisers galore in-house, so if you produce bad work, it doesn't take long at all for you to be picked up. If you have a very niche specialization, it definitely helps, how many people does nuclear safety? Very few. So if you're in that very narrow field, your competition is very few. Whereas if you do administrative text, you have hundreds and thousands of competitors. And security clearance is also a differentiator, because sometimes they have protected documents, and only protected suppliers can bid. So if you're secured, whereas your competitor who can do the same work is not, they're not eligible. You are. So that's a differentiator that eliminates your competition. So you always have to think, who am I competing with? You know, if you have zero competition, that's a really good scenario. So, or if you have very few competition, that's much better than you have lots of competition. And be in the online directories are also very helpful. And online directories usually come with a job board. So I'm not sure if you guys talk about this in school. This is probably more practical and relevant to translators that do outside of English and French, but it can also be very useful. So Prose is the largest online portal for freelance translators. They have a job board. They post, like, there's stuff coming up every hour. So you can, it's the same like LinkedIn, you know, you log in, you create a profile, you try to be very specific about, you know, your education, your rates, your specialty field, but it's good to be found, you know. In business or in any kind of professional service, whatever, that visibility factor is huge, you know. If you open a store in the North Pole, who's going to buy from you? Because people can't, you know, people don't know you're there. They can't get there. I mean, you just have to, you know, people have to know you exist first. I always tell people, you know, it's just the low-hanging fruits. So the first thing is always that people know you're there. You know, they may or may not think you're qualified to do a job. But if they don't know you exist to begin with, there is no possible way that they can give you a contract, hire you for a job, give you anything, because they simply do not know that you exist. So always make sure people know, first of all, you exist. And then you can build your brand. You know, I'm good, and this is what I'm good at. And that's what you build on. But the foundation is always that people know you exist. So you do everything. Like, so in being directories means you're visible, right? Talking to on Facebook, have a LinkedIn page. This all contributes to you being highly visible. So this is Translators Cafe. It's actually owned by a Russian-speaking translator I think in the Toronto area. So, but it's very big on the internet, probably second to prose.com. And as you get more experience, and this is more something to put.
I'm sorry, could you go back for a second to the slide right before this one?
Yep.
Just want you to take down the books.
Yeah, I'll have this slides ready to be distributed. You can put it on the group page if you want, and I also have a recording of this to go with the slide.
We'll send you the slides. Yeah.
And as you get more experience, you know, you can get on standing offers of different municipal, provincial, federal government. There's lots of workshops on how to do business with the government. They're posted on Mercs. And there's a whole game of marketing and sales in the private sector, you know. So my mandate today is more to give you a glimpse of what's waiting for you once you're out there, but not to teach you everything, because then I would need, you know, a lot of time. So there's a quote from a very famous baseball coach. He said, if you love your job, you haven't worked a day in your life. That would be a very good thing, I think, for everybody, including myself, you know. So you have to think, how do I make it happen? You can make it happen. You are the designer and architect of your life, of your profession, of your career. So you build all the pieces. You define what you want, how you're going to get there, and how you're going to manage it when you get there. So anything is possible. And I don't mean this, you know, like, oh, that's cheap to say. You know, of course everything is possible. You know, you can pursue your own happiness by understanding what makes you happy and what are the pieces that contribute to that.